Hey, my name's Brad, and thank you for giving my show, The Summit, a chance. I'm recording the very first episode, so at this moment, as I record it, nobody is aware the show even exists. So if someday you are a viewer that's not me, then I've actually uploaded it to YouTube, and it's become a show. And I've gone from just recording in my bedroom to actually sharing the good news. Let me give an overview of the podcast again. It's called The Summit, or maybe The Summit Cast. I'm kind of bouncing those two ideas in my head. But it is a religious podcast. What is the summit? Let's start there. The summit is, as everybody already knows, the summit is the top of a mountain. It's the highest peak. Like a mountain climber, it is the goal. It's the finish line. To me, the summit is going to church on Sunday. So it is the most important time of my week. It is the highest point of my week. It is the time I'm closest to God. And it's kind of the rest of the week is really centered around that and preparing myself for church in every way possible. So that being the case, the goal of this podcast is to prepare myself and other viewers for church, and that's to read the readings that are going to be read in church on Sunday. And this will be the three readings that are read in most Christian churches. I know that not all Christian churches are the same. I know that some churches will read different readings, but if I had to pick one group of readings to start with, I'm picking the most common group of readings that are read at most Christian churches on Sundays. And this is usually two readings that are not from the gospel and a third that is from the gospel. So the overview of the podcast will be as such. Today is Wednesday. I'm doing the first episode on Wednesdays. I will read the three readings that will be read at the upcoming Sunday service. Then on Thursday, I will reread the first reading, and I will give some details about that reading. I'm not a biblical expert, but my goal is to do some research for each reading and share what I found with the viewers in hopes that it can help prepare people. Again, I'm not an expert, and I'm going to do my best to just find information to share. Following that convention, I will be reading on Friday the second reading, and on Saturday the third reading. The third reading will be the gospel. And then after that will be Sunday. That will be the day we go to church. That is the Sabbath, or that'll be the day that I go to church. Hopefully you'll go to church too. That will be the summit. I'm not sure if I will do a podcast on Sunday. I'm still feeling things out. But then the day after, no, so Sunday is the summit. That's the time we'll say we're at the top of the mountain and we're closest to God. And then after that, you come down from the mountain, just like it's the end of, at least of my church. The deacon will say, go and share the word of God with everybody, in so many words. They say it in different ways in different churches, but now is the time to go share the word, because you have been, you have attended church and you've communed with God, and now go spread the good news. So then we go down the mountain and we share the good news with people that weren't able to go to church, or maybe didn't have the same experience with us in church. I'm not sure how that will happen. Maybe that's just taking some recordings and feedback from you guys and sharing that on my show. What I will do at the very beginning is that we're lucky with YouTube that priests and reverends and religious leaders are sharing their sermons out on the internet, and I have a ton of content to already go through on a regular basis to get these reflections on these readings. But it doesn't necessarily have to be religious leaders. Again, it can be anybody that has a reflection on the readings, or even just a reflection on church on Sunday. So that will be Monday and Tuesday. Again, we're coming down the mountain, coming down from the summit, and we're reflecting. And then Wednesday starts the circle all over again. I will then read the three readings from the next upcoming Sunday, and we'll rinse and repeat. So why am I doing this? First and foremost, the rule from Jesus and God is to make disciples out of nations, to be fishers of men and women, and to spread the good news. That is super clear to me in the gospel. There's no mistaking it. And this falls in line with that, I hope. I also wanted to start sharing my faith outside the kind of circle that I have. I have a family and a lot of friends, and a tight-knit town, and I've shared my religion within that circle. Again, the general vicinity of people I can see and shake their hands. But I wanted to start to share my faith outside of that circle. One, to be a fisher of men, and also my kids are starting to get older. some of them are moving out, and a big focus up until now was really sharing my faith with my children, and now they're becoming religious adults, and they're starting their own families. So now it's time for me to look elsewhere. I always have to be a father to my children and be a religious leader of my family, but they're moving out, so it's time to do new stuff. And then finally, the catalyst of all this is my priest at one of the homilies a couple of weeks ago had a really good question for everybody. He said, if the government wanted to crack down on religion and imprison Christians, would they have the proof they needed to convict you? And he's saying that to all the people in the church, and that made me think. Now, I don't totally know the answer to that, and I would think that if the government talked to my friends and my family, they'd know, but who knows if they're going to ask that, talk to my friends and my family. So I felt that if I made this podcast, that would, without a doubt, answer that question. Yes, that they would have enough to convict me. And I think that's where we're supposed to be. People should know we're Christian, and we should share that message. That's what I believe, at least. So that's what I'm trying to do here. That's the whole point of this podcast. I'll cut it short now. Thank you for giving my show a chance. I hope to get better every episode. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to screw up. But I'm going to try really hard. All right? God bless.